Right now at 6, tackling the late-night drug market in San Francisco. The push to expand a controversial curfew on corner stores in the Tenderloin to another problem area.
This is going to give us a little breathing room to get some order restored in Soma.
How business owners and neighbors in Soma feel about the plan.
That's the rush hour for us. This is how we make our money. After 12.
Plus, the very latest on the shooting in the nation's capital that left 2 National Guard members in critical condition, with President Trump vowing to bring in even more troops to D.C. in response.
That will only stiffen our resolve. We will never back down. We will secure our capital. We will secure our cities.
Murder charges in a shocking San Francisco home invasion.
Everybody has been rocked by this, certainly in the Ingleside neighborhood, but across San Francisco.
A woman killed inside her home, how her roommate helped police make an arrest. And what we've learned about the suspect's extensive criminal record.
Our heart breaks for this family, for the roommate, the other tenant that lived there, and for the neighborhood.
And later,
we're able to essentially eradicate it from the area.
How Silicon Valley officials are trying to get rid of an invasive species by having them mate.
We're trying to disrupt the life cycle of medflies currently in the area.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us at 6. We start with a new effort to tackle late-night crime and drug use in San Francisco. It's been more than a year since the city moved up closing time for corner stores in the Tenderloin. The goal of the curfew was to cut down on places where people are buying and selling drugs and where they could gather. And a new study suggests it is making a difference in the neighborhood. And now there is a push underway to expand the curfew to another problem area in San Francisco. Kenny Choi explains.
Corner stores operating in Soma 24/7 could soon see their hours cut short if a proposal by District Supervisor Matt Dorsey passes. The plan would expand the midnight to 5 a.m. curfew on corner stores from the Tenderloin to parts of Soma. Habibi Market on 6th Street says it would be negatively impacted by the reduced hours.
That's the rush hour for us. This is how we make our money after 12.
District 6 Supervisor Matt Dorsey is proposing an 18-month pilot program for Soma corner stores, with the curfew aimed only at corner store type retailers and not bars or restaurants.
Business owners will be the first to acknowledge there are some businesses that are not playing by the rules. I would say most businesses are playing by the rules. This is going to give us a little breathing room to get some order restored on the 6th Street corridor and in Soma.
Henry Karnilowicz is president of the South of Market Business Association, who says closing certain shops that operate 24/7 is needed.
It's like a marketplace that they've created where they can buy their cheap cigarettes, we can buy their cheap drugs, where they can do the gambling and all that, and that's what they were gathering for that purpose. And that's what people here don't want.
The push comes after a new study by researchers at the University of Sassari found that during the first 9 months of the Tenderloin curfew, drug-related incidents in the targeted 20-block zone dropped by 56%.
It's happened sometimes, but we feel safe. So we don't have that much problem in the day or at nighttime. It could happen, but not that much.
What I had been hearing from SFPD and the Narcotics Division, the DMAC, which is the Drug Market Agency Coordinating Center, is that the curfew seemed to be working.
Dorsey hasn't outlined specific locations that would be targeted. He says those details are still being discussed.
Under the city's Tenderloin curfew, stores that violate the ordinance can face citations of up to $1,000 per hour. We are continuing to follow new developments in the shooting of 2 National Guard members from Washington, D.C. As you can see from live pictures, law enforcement still on the scene hours after the shooting, just a few blocks from the White House. Investigators say the guardsmen from West Virginia were targeted in an ambush-style attack. The suspect was injured in a shootout and taken into custody. He's now in the hospital. Law enforcement sources tell CBS News he is a 29-year-old Afghan national who is believed to have entered the U.S. in 2021. After the attack, the president announced he would be sending 500 additional National Guard troops into the nation's capital.
It's a somber reminder that soldiers, whether they're active duty, reserve, or National Guard, our soldiers are the sword and the shield of the United States of America.
We'll work together collaboratively because this is a matter of national security, because it's a matter of pride. President Trump has been informed. We've been in contact with the White House.
The FBI says the National Guardsmen are in critical condition. Well, much more ahead on the CBS Evening News at 6:30, and you can stay up to date on the very latest on the CBS News app, as well as on kpix.com. We're learning more about the suspect accused of killing a woman in a San Francisco home invasion. Today, 45-year-old Cassidy Wyatt Allen was charged with murder and first-degree residential burglary. Prosecutors say it happened just before 3 p.m. on Sunday in the Ingleside neighborhood. One tenant was arriving home when she heard someone inside. She ran back to her car and called 911. When police arrived, they saw an open window, bent blinds, but no signs of forced entry. While searching the bedrooms, they found the tenant's roommate, 38-year-old Jessica Alejandra Sanchez Landaverde. She was pronounced dead at the scene.
As this is probably one of the worst types of crimes that anyone can imagine happening. Thankfully, the San Francisco police were able to make really what I would deem an immediate arrest in this case, and so I do want to reassure the public that this individual has been caught.
Records show over 20 cases filed against the suspect since 2023, including one for unauthorized entry and attempted burglary. Documents also show he entered a diversion program this past summer, which was why he was out on the streets. The DA would not comment on that today. Allen is expected to be back in court to enter a plea December 2nd. Also, we're getting our first look at the suspect arrested in a decades-old cold case murder from Foster City. In 1982, Nancy Galvani's body was found floating in a sleeping bag near the San Mateo Bridge. Investigators say they arrested her estranged husband, 81-year-old Patrick Galvani, in San Francisco on Monday. He was booked into the San Mateo County Jail on murder charge. A police chase across 2 counties ended with the discovery of a large stash of marijuana. You can see the bags of pot. They were just found stuffed in the compartments of this Tesla. The Monterey County Sheriff's Department says it all started with a burglary at a marijuana greenhouse in Salinas early Tuesday morning. Salinas police tried to stop the white Tesla, and then a chase started. Eventually, officers blocked the car in Gilroy, and the suspects took off on foot. A 17-year-old was arrested, but 2 other suspects got away. A second getaway car was found crashed in a ditch on Highway 101. Age-old question, did you feel it? A series of earthquakes rattled the South Bay this morning, the largest of 4.0. That hit around 6:16 a.m., about 5 miles east of Gilroy. It was followed by 2 smaller aftershocks, all of them along the Calaveras Fault. Nearly 2,400 people reported feeling the quakes from Salinas all the way to Marin County. A 109 square mile section of Santa Clara County is under quarantine after the detection of 2, yes, just 2 female Mediterranean fruit flies in San Jose, but for good reason, as they threaten nearly $14 billion in California crops. So in response, officials have begun releasing hundreds of thousands more medflies into the area. But as Brian Hackney explains, these flies have a secret weapon they hope will help eradicate the threat.
While the Bay Area sleeps, a gentle rain falls. A rain of 10 million sterile medflies falling from the sky onto Silicon Valley. And local biologists are buzzed about it. Biologist Coy Wynn has kept an eye on the medfly since it reappeared in Santa Clara County.
We're trying to disrupt the life cycle of medflies currently in the area.
And it's not easy to spot.
This is Mediterranean fruit fly. For size of scale, it's incredibly tiny. We're talking like even less than the size of a penny.
But it is easy to trap.
It's just basically attracts a smell or flavor for medflies.
So when a few of them were found over the summer, it was a reminder of the bad old days of the Mediterranean fruit fly.
All-out assault on the invasive pest.
Crews spraying malathion are moving from house to house, but the medfly is also on the move.
In the early 80s, the state responded to a medfly invasion by spraying the pesticide malathion onto crops, trees,
and people. And many have been scared by scientists who say malathion causes cancer.
We feel like we are just trapped here and we're going to be sprayed. We're going to be living in the sea of malathion.
I could have a 2-pound baby instead of a nice, healthy 7-pound baby.
This was during Jerry Brown's first incarnation as governor, when he drove a Plymouth Satellite, dated Linda Ronstadt, and was foiled by the fly.
Do you have any fresh fruit or vegetables there?
People can't take fruit out of the quarantine area. It's a threat to agriculture. It's a threat to other states, and it must be stopped.
The man has just bungled this thing from the very beginning all the way through.
The state eventually claimed victory. Jerry Brown did not.
I don't know, if I were Jerry Brown, I would take 4 years off.
The Democrat actually lost to a Republican in California in 1982.
And now the return of the medfly.
Since then, the medfly has been spotted in California in at least 41 of the last 44 years.
See if I can get a closer up for you.
Including this summer. In response, they're no longer spraying, they are dropping 60 million medflies a week onto the quarantine area, all of them sterile males, based on one vital fact.
The fact that for Mediterranean fruit flies, they only really mate once, and that we can take advantage of.
So a female mates with a sterile male and lays eggs that never hatch.
And then with continual applications, we're able to essentially eradicate it from the area.
And where exactly is the quarantine? That's where Carolyn comes in.
This is the quarantine area, and to find out if you're inside of it, you can go onto our website at sacagriculture.org, put in your address, and it will let you know if you're within the quarantine zone. On there, it'll give you instructions on what you can do with your homegrown fruit.
In the meantime, the quarantine will probably last through next summer, when the pests should be eradicated without even hurting a fly.
Now, officials say they don't know the root cause of the infestation, but most invasive fruit flies hitch a ride inside produce from areas of the world with infestations. All right, still ahead, right here at 6. It's one of, if not the busiest holiday travel day of the year. We will check in on the Thanksgiving Eve rush from the roads to the airports.
I'm ready to get there. If I could drive the plane myself, I would.
We're happy that everything seems to be back to normal. Yeah, we're a little worried, but glad that it's back.
Plus, San Francisco police officers and firefighters square off and put their knife skills to the test. Who came out on top in the battle for the title of Master Turkey Carvers? Let's take a live look at some of our Bay Area bridges during evening rush hour on one of the busiest travel days of the year. Luckily, so far at least, we haven't seen any major issues or backups on the roadway. And don't forget, a busy holiday travel period means CHP's maximum enforcement period is officially in effect. They'll be looking out for drunk drivers and other traffic violations through Sunday. So AAA predicts more than 73 million people will be hitting the roads over the holiday. That's nearly 90% of all projected Thanksgiving travelers. And as for people flying to destinations, SFO expects to see about 6.3 million travelers this holiday season through New Year's Day. That's up about 4% compared to last year. So travelers we spoke with say they're just happy the shutdown ended in time for the holiday rush.
We're happy that everything seems to be back to normal. Yeah, we're a little worried, but glad that it's back.
I'm going to be going to see my whole family.
For today, it's about just the love for family, and I have a friend who's a relative who's gone home from the hospital, and it's just being grateful for everything we do have.
I'm going to go to Hawaii, and I'm just going to visit there for my grandpa's birthday.
U.S. Airlines are expecting more than 31 million passengers over the holiday season, or about 2.8 million people per day. San Francisco firefighters and police officers faced off at the Salvation Army in the Tenderloin today for a turkey carving competition, but only one team could walk away with the title of Master Turkey Carvers.
The police and fire are always there for the worst moments quite often. They're seeing people in difficult times. This is an opportunity to serve people in a fun way.
It is fun. The carvers were judged on finesse, speed, and style. In the end, it came down to the tiebreaker, but the police department came out on top. The turkey carvings will be a part of the full Thanksgiving meal given out tomorrow. Every holiday season, CBS News Bay Area partners with local food banks as part of our annual Food for Bay Area Families drive. And this year, local food banks tell us they've seen demand skyrocket.
So we typically welcome 500 new families every month that access the Redwood Empire Food Bank for the very first time. And in the last 30 days, we saw almost 1,900 brand new families. Most of what we provide to the community is fresh produce. About 55% of the food that we move is fresh produce. For every dollar they give, we can buy $3 worth of food. No gift is too small.
If you would like to help this holiday season, just scan the QR code on your screen to find out how you can donate to or volunteer at our local food banks. Just head to kpix.com/give.
On this Thanksgiving Eve, the fog dissipated a little faster this morning compared to the past couple of days, but temperatures were still on the cool side in both Concord and in Santa Rosa, only mid to upper 50s, but it made it all the way up to the mid 60s at Half Moon Bay, the warm spot across the region. We will take a look at the Turkey Day forecast, the complete holiday weekend forecast coming up.
All right, let's get to our Thanksgiving forecast, shall we? A dry forecast, not a dry turkey, but a dry forecast.
You will hope.
It depends, right?
Yeah. I think the best turkey can be is just not dry. I'm not a huge fan of turkey.
That's true.
Like, it's like that's the bar you're trying to clear. It's just, okay, it's edible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
170 degrees. That's what I learned today from the Butterball Turkey Hotline.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Not your oven, but the turkey itself.
Good luck, and good luck to your guests as well. Let's take a look at what's happening. I'm glad you didn't realize this for the turkey and not for your
the oven is 325 bake, everyone.
Yeah, cook it at 170. You might take a little bit of time. Here's a look at the satellite replay from earlier today, and there is all of that fog in the Central Valley. The Tule fog did shrink a little bit as we went through the afternoon, but it didn't dissipate entirely. And while the fog did dissipate pretty quickly over the Bay Area, even the North Bay valleys that were socked in yesterday saw that fog out of here by midday at the latest. Now, the fog in the Central Valley is going to be the big travel headache across the state if you're going to be going over the river and through the woods. Proverbially or literally, tomorrow temperatures are going to be anywhere from the low 50s in Sacramento underneath that fog to the upper 50s around Eureka to the upper 70s in Los Angeles, mid 70s in San Diego. Pretty much a mix of clouds and sunshine for most of the state except the Central Valley. Sacramento and Fresno are going to be socked in underneath that Tule fog. The same weather pattern that is trapping that fog at ground level is also trapping smoke from wood-burning stoves and fireplaces. So today's air quality, not great, mostly in the moderate category, but there were a few instances where it tips into the unhealthy for sensitive groups range, at least in a kind of isolated basis. And that's going to be the case once again tomorrow. So another spare the air alert. Try to resist the urge to use those wood-burning stoves and fireplaces. Don't contribute any more smoke to the lowest levels of the atmosphere. Right now, clear skies from the Salesforce Tower. The fog will return later on tonight. We'll look at that on the map in just a second. Temperatures a mix of upper 40s in Livermore and Concord down to the upper 40s already to the low to mid 50s elsewhere across the Bay Area, but everybody will dip down at least to the 40s, some of the chilliest spots into the upper 30s early tomorrow morning. So layer up for some of those turkey trots. If you're going to be doing them with your furry friend, temperatures are eventually going to warm up and it'll be cool in the morning. This is our adoptable dog of the day. This is Agatha from the East County Animal Shelter. She would be, of course, most thankful for a forever home, but while she's waiting, she gets to enjoy some pleasant temperatures, especially tomorrow afternoon. I'll put a link up on social media right after this weathercast. Let's track the fog, which is going to be widespread to start the day, especially in the North Bay valleys and east of the Oakland Hills, kind of spilling in from the Central Valley. But as the sun comes up, we are eventually going to see that fog starting to dissipate. It'll take the first few hours of daylight for that trend to kick in. But once it does, our temperatures are going to warm up to within a few degrees of what's normal for Thanksgiving Day, which means a mix of mostly 60s with a few 50s sprinkled in, mid to upper 60s in the Santa Clara Valley, only mid to upper 50s east of the Diablo Range. Those will be the cool spots because the fog will be most stubborn there, right around 60 degrees in Concord, with temperatures reaching up to the low to mid 60s around the Bay. At the coast, low to mid 60s and mid 60s for most of the North Bay once you get away from that fog that is kind of spilling through the strait. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast, which does not have any rain at all in it. The next rain chance is at least 10 days away, and some of the latest forecast model data indicates The next rain chance is going to be about 2 weeks from now, so that's a long way away. Temperatures aren't going to change a whole lot, running pretty close to normal unless you get trapped underneath some of that more stubborn fog where highs will remain in the 50s, but not bad for Turkey Day travel. We'll look at the national forecast coming up at 7.
Oh, yes, that's
Yeah.
going to be a doozy. Okay, thank you so much. All right, when we come back, we're going to head to San Francisco to see how the city is remembering one of its most iconic sons, Bruce Lee, ahead of what would have been his 85th birthday.
Now you can get your KPIX news, weather, and live stream all in one place on the CBS News app. Download it free today.
Kung Fu fans in San Francisco celebrated legendary martial arts artist Bruce Lee's birthday ahead of what would have been his 85th birthday tomorrow. Fans paid tribute to Lee, remembering his groundbreaking films and unmatched fighting skills. Lee was born in San Francisco's Chinatown in 1940, and we spoke to a collector and superfan about his legacy.
When he passed away, even though there were so many different Kung Fu movie stars, we all knew that none of them would be even close to Bruce Lee. It's almost like a Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali. There's only one.
There's only one Bruce Lee. The Chinese Historical Society of America is honoring Bruce Lee with free admission to the We Are Bruce Lee exhibit. CBS Evening News is next on KPIX. Local news continues on our streaming service, CBS News Bay Area. We're back here in 30 minutes with CBS News Bay Area at 7 with more local news. We'll see you then. Thanks for joining.